Well, hey, welcome back, gardening friends. I'm in the middle of potting up my tomatoes. Got all the other stuff that we had started a few weeks back out at the greenhouse. And it's raining outside, the weather's not real good. Weather was really good yesterday, so we got a lot done as far as prepping the garden. And I've got a couple videos I may upload later on that. But I wanted to take you along this afternoon for anyone that decides to tune in here and take you along with me as I'm finishing up really the potting up of the tomatoes. I've got quite a few that are going because I'm anticipating giving quite a few away or selling them or whatever, in addition to everything that we're going to be doing out at the garden and here at the house. I've got, I think, altogether at least 6 trays. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've got 8 trays. I'll have 8 trays of tomatoes, about 18 plants in each tray. There's a couple trays I'm doing full um, 18 pots in. I potted up some supersonics from my friend Tom over at Frugal Prepper. Depending on how many he wants, I've got 18. Hopefully that will be available. Again, I don't know how many of those he's going to want or if I'll end up taking some of those with him, but most of those are set aside for him. I've got a full tray of my sauce tomatoes, San Marzanos. We'll see how they go. I've got a coworker, friend at work that she's wanting some of those, so I've got a full tray of those going. And then some of the other varieties that we're going to be giving away or selling or whatever, I've got pink brandywine, full tray of those because that tends to be a really nice tomato. Chadwick cherry tomato, we gave a bunch of those away as gifts to people in our co-op last year, so I've got a full tray of those going. And then I think everything else is going to be half trays, so about 9 plants, whatever the 9 best plants are, as I'm digging them out and assessing and figuring out which ones we want to pot up, move forward with, is what we're doing. So let me show you kind of the method of the madness here. So first things first, a couple things you're going to need or that I use that I've found helpful over the years. And that's having nice deep pots. Tomatoes grow pretty quick, so having like a 16-ounce pot, something like that. These are perfect. I can get 18 of them in there, which is about perfect space-wise too, because they're going to be, you know, putting on leaves and stuff, and they're going to need more space. So having these pots they're ideal. Tomatoes would be good for about 6 weeks in a pot like this without, starting to exhaust it a little bit. Next thing is the potting mix, and actually having it dry works better than wetting it down, as far as being able to get your hole and then be able to quickly bring the grow mix around the tomato after you pot it. But for this mix, I've got my Pro Mix. So when I get this about over halfway full, I'll take a vase, which is about probably 8 cups of worm castings, throw that in there, and then probably a cup of azomite rock dust that has the 70 plus minerals, and I mix that all together, and that's basically my grow mix. That gives it a little something, so if I can't get out there to fertilize in time or whatever, there's still some nutrients and things that the plant can draw on in the interim. So it's a pretty good mix. I fill these pots up almost all the way. There's just a little lip, maybe a ½ inch space left that's not filled up. Then I take my dibber tool, which is just decent. It's got 1-inch markings on that, so you can kind of know how far down you're going. But I'll put my dibber in, and we can go ahead and do that on these. Let's try to find the middle. Just kind of make my little hole, rotate it around there. And with the worm castings, it's damp enough that it kind of holds its shape. It doesn't fall back in on itself, which is good. So I'm going about 3 inches down, because my little tomato seedlings are close to 3 inches tall, and I want to get most of the stem buried, and that's because the stem will morph. It's got little follicles that will morph into roots, so essentially the stem will become kind of a big root, at least the initial stem, until it starts growing. But I'll put the tomatoes in, and then hold it by the seed leaf, and then kind of pull the soil mix around it, kind of tamp it in a little bit, and then we'll water it in. So again, I've got quite a few trays done. I've got 2 trays left to do. I've got several varieties here. Hey Tom, what's up, man? Got your Supersonics potted up. I was able to get a full tray. I'm hoping they'll all make it. There's 18 of them. We're getting ready to pot up the rest of these. I've been having my son helping me for a little bit, and then he wanted to go do other things, so I went ahead and let him go. But I got terracotta. These are a really good tomato. Again, I had to go back in the little my seed bank to get those because I couldn't find the seeds I saved from last year. So these are actually from 2018. True Black Brandywine. That's a variety that's pretty nice. It's an earlier one too, so with us being in a kind of a little bit of a cooler climate. Hey, Stingbat. Yeah, it's raining here too. It's damp, cold outside. This is a good variety. It comes on early. One of my earlier ones. Dester is kind of mid-season, and Kellogg's Breakfast is kind of a late season. It takes a good 3 solid months before I start seeing anything from that variety, and those go all the way to like October. And that's a yellow tomato. That's my wife's favorite. Then we got the my tomato contest one. I didn't get a whole lot that has come up on this pot. I've got another pot that's underneath here. It hasn't sprouted, but so far I got, looks like 3 decent ones. And these seeds are about 4 years old. Didn't germinate too well, but the ones that did, I'm gonna baby those, and we'll see if we can't get a giant tomato. So I got 2 trays, 18 pots in each one. Of all these seedlings, we're gonna save 9 from each pot. I mean, I could do a full tray of something, because I'm gonna be potting these up later because I don't have enough that have sprouted yet to really justify putting them in a tray yet, and they're still small enough. So probably later this week, I'll be potting these 2 up in a tray. Maybe I'll do Dester in a full tray, and in the interim, maybe we'll pair these 2 up. Yeah, whatever. M.I. Gardner. It's been a little while since I've watched his videos. I mean, I like him and all that, and we've corresponded a little bit, and he's done really well for himself as far as being a professional gardener and all of that, in his little seed business. I mean, you can't beat the deals. In fact, well, I think I put those seeds up 99 cents a packet. You can't hardly compete with that. I don't know if he's raised prices since then. I didn't order anything from him this year because I still had a bunch left over from last year that I'd ordered. But yeah, things are going good. We got a lot done yesterday. I saw your video, Tom, making the bed. It sounded like you got another bed in the works. Heck, you'll be able to do a whole lot out at your house with that. We got I've got, what was it, 14, and we only did the main garden. I got 14 beds staked out and kind of prepped. They are 30 inches wide by 18 foot long, and there's a 4.5 foot walking path in the middle that separates the sets of beds, and there's 30-inch walking paths between each of the beds that are 30 inches wide. So I had enough, there was enough space out there to do that. And it's crazy, every year we you know, when we're going through the prep and stuff, we try to be careful, but every year, that's awesome, man. You guys are going to be eating a lot of radishes. I need to get some radishes started. But I'm excited. I'll have to post some pictures. The one video I made, I think, has all that. But anyway, we were, yeah, pickled. We were prepping the beds, and my daughter, I got her on the tiller, and I set it at a 3-inch depth because there's probably at least that much leaf mulch. I basically just wanted to rough up the leaf mulch and kind of clean it off the beds a little bit, you know, so they'll dry out a little bit so we can cultivate them and then plant them out later this month. But she's going along with the tiller and all that, and all of a sudden I look down and there's a bunny rabbit, and she had gone over the nest, and fortunately I didn't have the tiller set deeper, otherwise it'd probably cut up a bunch of bunnies. But we uncovered a rabbit nest. There were 7 bunny rabbits in that nest, and which was just crazy to me. What, too bad that I didn't run over them? Oh shoot. But so we opened, you know, got the nest exposed and started digging around, and that yeah, well, so my buddy Stone, and I don't know if he's on here yet or not, but a lot of times he jumps on the live streams. But I called him, or I shot him a text. I was like, "Hey man, you want some rabbits?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'll take them." So he came over and hung out with us for a while, helped us set some posts for. We're extending the south end of the garden because my sister's wanting to do more, and she kind of has a third of the garden already. Well, we're going to extend that out to her raised beds. So Dad got a bunch of, they're basically old treated posts, maybe they're telephone posts or power line posts that are cut in half or whatever. They're like 6 foot long. And he's got this power auger. We got him for his birthday. So we're able to drill the holes. It didn't take too long to set them, but Stone helped us out getting all that done. But he took the rabbits, but I was amazed. I mean, when, again, we uncovered the nest and maybe threw one of the rabbits out. Didn't hurt it at all. But as we were digging down, just how many bunnies we were pulling out of that burrow. So he picked them up, and I think his plan, this is terrible, but he's an avid fisherman, and so I think his plan was he's going to use them as fish bait, and maybe he's going to cook them up. I don't know. Yeah, maybe eat them. He didn't tell me exactly what he was going to do with them, but and I didn't really say a whole lot to the kids. I just told them that, yeah, Stone's coming over. He's going to take care of the bunnies. We don't have to worry about them anymore. So yeah, it's either bunny stew or he's gonna be catching some fish with some bunny, but yeah, bunny lures. But it happens every year. Um, it never fails. Sometimes twice a year we'll come across a nest, and usually it's in the spring. This is the earliest that we've found them. Their eyes weren't even open yet, but they did have their fur. In years past, we found them, but their eyes were. Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm kind of glad we didn't just for the sake of the kids let the miniature dachshund out into the garden because I mean she's bred for that stuff and she would have found them and probably eaten at least one and if not more. She's a little pig and she's a killer. But we had her pinned up in the yard with the other dog my dad's got. But every year we find bunny rabbits. It never fails. I mean, we find them, and usually, I mean, sometimes it's when I'm weed eating the perimeter of the yard, and a string trimmer I end up hitting it and, killing at least one, maybe wounding another, and then we have to relocate them. The last 2 years, what we've done is driven a couple miles away and then just dropped them off in the woods. They were big enough that they were hopping around and all that good stuff. So they could feed themselves. But yeah, just a challenge, and we need to trap the mother. There's a larger rabbit that's either underneath the barn or underneath the trees. There at Dad's house, and I've got a live trap and he's got one, but we need to set it and try to catch that rabbit so that we don't have a repeat, because I'm sure what I don't want to do is be planting stuff and feeding rabbits. That happened the first year. We were gardening out there. I put all this real nice lettuce out and I come out and there'd be like 6 heads missing, like chewed all the way to the ground. And so it took us a while to fix that problem. We ended up fencing the whole yard in and put chicken wire, buried it all around, tried to stop up all the holes, and that seemed to work. So I don't know, we'll see how it goes. But anyway, it was a great day though. We got a lot done. Ton of stuff done out there. Got all my beds prepped. We're gonna be able to grow quite a bit out there, providing I get the seed started and stay on top of it, kind of be more on a schedule with things. Plenty of tomatoes we're going to be doing. We've got the north section that's going to be set aside for the watermelons and the pumpkins and stuff again. So excited about that. So yeah, that's kind of what's going on. It's got just a ton of stuff done. So like I said, I think I made 2 videos while we were out there and just haven't gotten around to editing them and posting them yet. But maybe later tonight, once I've got all this potting up stuff done, we can do that. Speaking of potting up, so there's the baby tomatoes. I got them watered in. I haven't fertilized them yet. I'm going to hit them with the Mittleider constant feed. Once I've got all the trays done, we'll take my cup and just drip some constant feed over all the plants and get them situated. And then I'll probably move these grow boxes off the table. Yeah. They look pretty happy so far. This is the pink Brandywine. I did a full tray of those. But I think I got enough space on the lights, though this side won't be on a grow mat or a heat mat. I think I can get 4 trays if I orient them like this, so they're all getting light. And I think I can get 4 trays under this, so that'll be my 8 trays that I've gone. I'll probably keep them here for a couple days, and then once they are kind of situated and past the kind of transplant shock, what I want to do is move them out to the greenhouse. Greenhouse temperature's been pretty nice out there through the day. We got a little mini heater in there that's kind of set so that if it falls below, say 60 degrees, it kicks on, and to keep it around that. We don't want it to be too hot, because if it gets to be 70 degrees, the window louvers will start opening up, and I don't want that, because I don't want anything flying in there at night, or just losing heat out the top or the side. So trying to keep it around 60 degrees, 50 to 60 degrees at night, and then during the day, it's getting up to 80 to 100 degrees in there, which is real nice for the peppers. They're coming along really nice, look really healthy. And my greens are ready to plant. I just don't have them hardened off to like the wind yet. We set up a little grow table yesterday to get them outside, and then the wind started picking up, whipping them around a little bit, but they're not kind of hardened yet to the kind of wind they're going to face when I get them down in the garden. So probably another week or so before I can get them in the ground. And then we got to do potatoes. I still got all my seed potatoes. We've got to plan out, a little behind on that, and onion sets. I was thinking about maybe putting an order in this week to that Dixondale Farms. They sell onion plants. They sell, they're really nice. Maybe try some new varieties and get some stuff going there. So yeah, we're on it, trying to get everything going, and hoping. I think I've timed it right, where hopefully by Memorial Day weekend, these tomatoes will be 8 inches tall and kind of stocky and really nice looking. Nice enough that we can plant them out and then start stringing them up. I'll be stringing them up in the garden this year. Yeah, Rural King's got some decent stuff. I got some seed potatoes from Tractor Supply this year. They were like, I think $5.99 a bag, and decent sized bag. I got Yukon Gold, Kennebecks, and the Red Pontiacs. I think again, those 3 varieties seem to do pretty well for me. So we're gonna get those going in the garden, and yeah, it should be pretty good, man. I'm looking forward to it. I've got the next thing that I'll be starting after that, and I've got enough mix and stuff left to do it, but the next thing will be the cucumbers and stuff, and usually those only take about 4 weeks to be ready. But I've got a couple of varieties I'll be doing this year that. I've still got some backup peppers. I haven't transplanted them yet. I wrote these down I've got a little cheat sheet that's numbered with the variety to figure out what this is. I forget. It's either red Thai or jalapeno, because we didn't have a real good germination rate last time, or maybe red Marconi. So I've got some extra peppers too. So I think we'll go ahead. I'll put the video up, or the camera up on the stand, and I'll show you guys the process here as far as getting these potted up a little bit more. We'll zoom in just a little bit. Now for this, I've got a couple of these. This is basically, I got a pack of just generic, these are tent stakes or just metal stakes. I think it was like a couple bucks for a pack of like, I don't know, 10 or whatever. And I just took the end and bent that out, and this makes a really good like soil knife to like dig stuff out. I got a tip here and point stuff. Works out well. It's stainless steel, so I don't have to worry about thing rusting on me. Let's see, what do we want to do? We'll go ahead and do a tray of the True Black Brandywines. And I'll keep this popsicle stick and just label, the half tray, because I'll have 9 of these. So, as you can see, I got quite a few here. There's probably, I don't know, 25. I'm going to try to pick the best ones out. So we're just going to take our soil knife and dig in there, kind of be careful, and try to massage that out a little bit. Without trying not to break the stems. They're kind of fragile at this point. Let's turn that there. I'm going to just break these apart here. Kind of evaluate. The roots are all going to look about the same for most of them. Like, not a big difference. And that one's pretty good. So we're going to go ahead and just, I got it by the leaf. Going to lower it into the hole right there, level with the soil, and then push it in. There it is. Trying to look for the ones that got a pretty good root clump or a clump of soil on it. So that's pretty good. This one's not as good. I mean, it looks kind of healthy, but the root's not maybe as big as some of the other ones, like as a comparison. This one is better, a little further along than this one. So that's the one we're going with. Now that one I just tore the seed leaf a little bit, but that's not going to be a real big deal. Because again, those leaves are kind of temporary. They'll slough off once things get going. But the stem, if I bust the stem, we're done. I mean, it's not coming back from that. So we got 6. That one looks decent. I'll do one more. This one looks pretty good. Alright, so there you have it. I get 9 True Black Brandywines potted up. You know, I got plenty of extras there. And it is tough because you want to. I mean, I hate throwing away plants, but at the same time, I don't need. I don't need 30 true black brandywine plants because I've got all these other varieties. So I just take this and we throw those away. So basically we're going to do that one more time. We're going to do the well, now we'll put the my stick here to mark this half of the tray. And we're going to do the same thing with the terracotta. Now I don't have as many of the terracotta to choose from. And part of that's because these seeds are 2 years old, so there weren't as many that germinated. You know, we take our little homemade soil knife here. And dig in and lift these out. I should be able to get nine good ones out of this. Since I don't have a ton to choose from, but I do have a little bit of a selection here, I'm going to go ahead and lay these out to compare the roots. Again, most of them look the same up top. It's the roots that I am most concerned about at this point. And whichever ones have the longest root stocks, probably going, you know, along with the other factors, everything else being equal, probably the one that I go forward with. Now here's a good example. I've got this one here and that one there. If I had a choice, I'm going to go with this one. It's got a root that's almost twice as long as that one. So we're definitely going with that one. We're going to lay that aside. It's another decent one. Some of these, the seed hasn't quite broken free from the seed yet. I mean, it's close, so I'm just gonna massage that just a little bit, see if I can't get it pulled out the rest of the way. Alright, so now we're gonna get this set potted up. Now, if I would have waited a little bit longer, maybe had these spaced apart, like didn't try, have so many seeds in there, we could make maybe a little bit better decision on which ones we thought were going to be the best. But there's other factors as well. I mean, the main thing, as long as they're getting the nutrients and the light, water, nutrients, heat, light, those are pretty much going to be the things that are going to determine how well things do. So our terracotta, we're going to go ahead and label this one here. So now the next step is we're going to water this in. Start cleaning up this. And to water it in, initially I've just got a bucket of water here. I've got I think it's like a 12-ounce Solo cup with a hole drilled in the middle, one hole. We're just going to pass this kind of around the root zone for a few seconds, just to water these in. The water's coming out slow enough, it's not going to and the hole is small enough that it's not going to wash away the grow mix, and disrupt the seedling. But it's going to be enough to make things nice and moist around the plant. Like I said, later on I'll follow this up with the constant feed mix. Similar deal, pass the Solo cup over the plant. So that's pretty much it. That tray's ready to go as far as setting it aside, and then I would start, another one there. All right. So again, once we're done, I'll have 8 trays. Should be pretty good. Cut a little bit there, you guys talking about worms. I need to wipe up the floor. I spilled some water. We can check out the worms. I just fed them here the other day. Let's take a look. we're not going to disturb that, but there's a bunch of strawberry caps, a banana, some green onion. I put a big mound of basically a strawberry container's worth in there. So they're munching on it right now. So enough about me and what we're doing here. What about you guys? Or gals? Whoever's watching. There's I think four people watching. What have you guys been up to? Are you got any questions? Yeah, which chili sounds good. Maybe we'll make some tonight. What'd you do to your knee? I heard you in the video you dropped a car on it or something. Like, did the jack stand fall over or? How'd you bust it up? Oh shoot. So what'd you do? Did you grab that jack real quick and pump it back up after you dropped it on? Oh my gosh. Was Wesley out there? Was he able to help you out? That's too funny, man. Well, unfortunately, it wasn't more serious. You know, it looked like you were still able to work. Oh my goodness. Oh, you're still working on the truck, huh? What was it this time? Were you working on brakes? Still on the brakes, or was it oil change or something? Oh. Yeah, I still need to get the car over there and have you check out the, you do a pressure check on the radiator, you know, since I'm losing, seems like periodically having to top off my coolant. You know, figure out what's going on there, like where I'm losing coolant. And then still, that other car, the Acura, once we get that, I need to bring that over too. Yeah, maybe next weekend or something. Can see about getting that over there. Yeah, talk to my dad. Maybe I can borrow a car. He's got a couple cars. He's got that Lincoln now. That's pretty nice. Could drive that to work for a week or something, or you know, if depending on what it is, maybe it's just super minor and won't be an issue. I noticed the belt, it's not squeaked as much. I think it just really depends on the weather. Yeah. My future brother-in-law's got the old Lincoln and seems to be enjoying it pretty well. They are pretty nice. The seats are pretty comfortable. Yeah. Well, it's got truck tires on it, um, which I think, yeah, which I'm trying to think. I think the way that speedometer was working was that you were going actually faster than what the speedometer was reading because the tires were um, larger than maybe what standard tires would be on it or something. It seemed like it was about 3 to 5 miles off, in the speedometer when I was pulling on my Waze on the smartphone. It kind of gives you an idea how fast you're going too. Oh, that's interesting. I can see that being, you. Shoot. Hmm. This was a little handy tool for. I get a bunch of old cups that got stickers on them. Oh shoot. Before moving to popsicle sticks, I'd done the little painter's tape, so I'm going through with this knife as I'm coming across the old cups and just peeling and ripping it off. These cups are pretty nice. They're a little thicker walled, so I can use them for a couple seasons before having to get replacements. Yeah, it's funny. When the tray was covered, there was a stick that had fungus on it or mold or whatever. But once I took the cover off and just cleaned it off, they've been fine. I haven't had any of the other sticks do that to me just yet. But that'd be the other thing. Once I get all these tomatoes done, is going to try to need to make my list up, number everything out, and then take a picture of it in case I lose it, and then number everything. I think I've got enough sticks left to do that. Then I got another. I'll show you. I took some mix out to my buddy Dwight, and we set up. Or at least I think he went ahead and set up his grow box. But I got two more like that. I went ahead and put this one together. And I'm probably going to switch out that. This is the pipe that comes with it. Which, it's not bad. But the flange pipe, the replacement pipe I got for these two, that when the black pipe that came with them got misplaced, I think this probably works better. It's got a wider opening at the top, so it's going to be easier to water. And it's just a little bit thicker diameter, I think. A little bit bigger diameter than that black pipe, and it still fits in there perfect. Yeah, well, I'll tell you, if you go down to, was it Meyer? I think it was like 29 bucks a box. And then they've got the half version that was like 21. That's about half that size in terms of the width. It's like almost like a window box. You can grow herbs in it and stuff like that. So we may get a couple of those. I've been wanting to get these set out on the back deck, but the weather's just been not good. You know, we'll have a good week. Well, you know, I mean, you're living in Springfield. The weather's good, and then, you know, it's not so good. Like today, not so good. Wouldn't be real good to have a box out there unless it was covered, you know, because it's cold, and it's supposed to get down to like, what, low 40s tonight? Yeah, I don't know. I'm ready for it to be a little, you know, instead of jumping around like it's been doing, it's kind of stabilize a little bit, you know, and being more in the warmer range, like, you know, 70 to 50, and that would be like perfect, right? But instead we got like, you know, maybe 70 or 60 down to 30s. And I'm thinking next week maybe is when it's going to start breaking a little bit more towards the warmer side of it. So well, I think what I'm going to do is go ahead and pot the rest of these up, get them labeled, move these boxes out, and then set everything up so that basically they're going to stay in the grow room for a couple days before the weather gets better. Yeah, no, I was in shorts and a short sleeve shirt yesterday. I got a little sunburn actually on a little bit back of my neck's red, or redneck. But it's good. We got just yeah. Oh shoot. All right, well, I think I'm gonna jump off here. I'm gonna get the rest of this stuff done, get the room cleaned up, and then kind of see what all the kiddos are doing before the day gets going. Maybe edit some videos too later tonight. Try to get some other stuff posted so you can see kind of what all we did yesterday. Or nah, I guess that's it for now. I'll catch you all on the next stream, man.